Good afternoon, sports fans. This is George with Custom Tide Flies and Guide Service. And we're going to do a tutorial on solid chartreuse EP peanut butter. Excuse me. So without further ado, this is what it's generally going to look like when it's done. The ingredients are you have 3D chartreuse EP fibers. On the 3/0 you're going to use 7.5 millimeter yellow pearl plastic eyes. You can either get them from EP or you can get them from Hairline. We're going to start off with Danville Flymaster 210 denier in white for the inside to get started, and then we're going to move to Danville Flymaster Ultrafine monofilament thread that's clear. EP Silky fibers, then some Chartreuse EP Sparkle, and some holographic silver EP Sparkle. Pretty straightforward pattern. The trick to this is not getting too much fibers on the hook as you go. So if you get too much fibers on the hook as you go, it ends up being all fluffy and floppy like this, and you end up trimming a whole bunch. So it's kind of a waste. So first thing we're going to do, start it off, you refer back to so you'll refer back to the tutorial on putting your glass rattles together, because this one comes with a rattle. So just look at the tutorial here on this YouTube channel and also on my website for encased glass rattle. We're tying these on Gamakatsu SL12-1X short, and this is a 3/0, so this fly is going to end up being 5.5 inches long, thereabouts. So first you're going to get tied in. You're going to start your thread up here by the point, and then you got your EP Silky, and you can just gather a few of those fibers, and then just fold them in half. You got a little strip like that, and then you're going to put that on the thread, pull it straight down, and then just follow the thread right up, get a few wraps on there, and then split that. And then you're going to cut that at a downward angle. That's the gills. Okay, and then you got your Got some pearly flash here. Then, so your EP hanks are about 10 inches long. You don't want a big hank, not real heavy, about yay much. You're going to flare those ends out. And then measure on your vise. You want 5.5 inches in length. So this is a 6-inch steel rule. Alright, so you measure from the eye back to 5.5 inches. And then I just make a mark as a guide on the back of my vise. That worked. Fold it over just like you did the Silky. Spread that out a little bit. You don't want it real big and bulky. And you're going to do the same thing with the down. About the same amount of stuff. Flare the ends. Put that on the far side. Take a wrap and just kind of let that roll down a little bit. And then you're going to bring this from over the top towards yourself. Pull it down. And there you go. Okay, and then next is your rattle. Just get your rattle. It's gonna, a lot of times it'll end up being curved. If it curves, just put it curved side down. I'm going to get it as close to the rattle as you can. And take you some head cement. Don't want to use UV resin for this. Use head cement or super glue or fingernail polish or whatever like that. And you're just going to take that and you're going to put it off to the side to cure. Alright, once it's done curing, now you got your mono thread. Get tied in up at the front. You want to be real careful with this stuff because it'll break pretty quick. And then back to the same thing. Just get a little bit. Not even quite 1/8 of an inch thick. Make sure those ends are nice and flared out. Find your middle. Gonna go one on top. Make sure that spreads around as you're trying to cover up your rattle. Okay? And one down the side. You're going to get a little flash. This is your, Chartreuse angel hair that I'm using on this. Just pull some out. There we go. Then you're going to move up a little bit. So now you're going to go in twos. So this next batch that you put on, you're going to take your standard hank length and take 2 inches off of it. So you're shortening the length by 1 inch. Right there. Spread it out. Take your next one. Take 2 inches off. Far side. Near side. Okay, you're going to do that again. Take 2 inches off. You just set them aside because you're going to use them at their bit. Take 2 inches off. Flare it out. See, it looks, see how it's flared out? Find the middle. Goes down the far side. Across the top. Alright, now you're going to put a little more flash in there. You see, it's already getting that bait fishy profile to it. Okay, now you're going to take 3 inches off. Same thing. Now here you're just going to do 1 at 3 inches. 1 set, that is, taking 3 inches off. Okay, now your next set is going to be taking 4 inches off. And it's really easy to get carried away with the thickness of your fibers, of your bunch of fibers. You got to be really careful about that. Now you are kind of intentionally building the head part up a little bit. Take 4 inches off. I got a little measurer right here. That's what I'm measuring it against, just in case you're wondering. Well, this one I'm going to take under. Alright, now I'm going to go back and get my little bunch that was 3 inches, or excuse me, that was 4 inches that I cut off. Flare that out. Kind of smash that down with my thumb. I got the other one that was 4 inches. Bring it down below. Okay. Now I got my 3-inch piece. Flare that out. Now my 3-inch piece, I'm going to make a V right here on top. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Alright, and then I'm going to hide that with my 2-inch piece. Put that right here in the front. I'm going to take a couple of wraps, and I'm going to pull this down over in front of the eye. Sometimes that doesn't get it all the way, so you got to go the other way with it too. Nope, that got it. Now you can push that stuff back away from the eye a little bit. Put my scissors down. Now this is where a tricky part comes in, where you don't want to break your thread. Got to be real careful that you don't break your thread. There we go. I'm gonna paint that with some UV resin, just right on that mono right there. Hit that with the light. There we go. Now you got a nice bait fishy profile. Now it's time to give him a haircut. So I use a cat brush, hold my fly by the tip here, and I put it on my leg. And I brush it out. I want to get all those loose fibers and stuff that might have got trapped or captured. And I'm also looking at it as to what I'm going to have to trim off. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. Alright, so what am I going to have to trim off? Well, let's see. Got my long-handled scissors. I have to sculpt that top a little bit. Not a whole lot. You don't want to get it. See, one of the things that's going to cause you fatness is the rattle that's inside. So you kind of got to take it a little bit for granted that you're going to be a little wide because of the rattle. I'm a little heavy down here on the bottom, so I'm just going to try to trim that down a little bit. And a little more. Try to give it that you want to be very careful that you don't end up taking length off while you're trying to get bulk off. You want to be able to kind of faintly see your gills. Of course, once this gets wet, it's going to be a little more translucent. So you'll be able to see the gills. And the gills are right up in there. There's your nice bait fish profile. We're going to kind of tighten that up a little bit. If you look real closer, you can kind of see the gills through the green. And again, you got to be real careful that you don't take the bulk that you built into the head, as you build the bulk into the head so that you got someplace you can mount the eyes. You don't want to rip all that out after you build it in. All right. All right, now that you got this all together and you're ready for eyes, take you a Sharpie, and you're going to feel and find where the base of the rattle is, right at the back of the hook, and that's where the eyes are going in. So just kind of mark that with your Sharpie. And you're not going to be able to put them directly across from each other. They're going to have to be offset by just a little bit because the eyes have these little spikes on the backs of them. You're going to trim most of that off. So for glue, I'm using this stuff here called Zap Gel. Okay? And I'm going to trim this post off, so there's about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to take my jet gel, make a little puddle, and I'm going to take my eye, I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and try not to get your, fingers in it. Now comes the hard part, is putting the other one on. So again, trim, glue, and then put your eye in place. And try not to get glue on your fingers. Which is sometimes easier said than done. That one didn't quite go where it was supposed to, but that's all right. Let's move it. Okay, and then as a little extra added security, I like to take UV resin and put over top of those eyes. This is a personal preference. Where these are going, the fish are they're real jerks. So bug has to be extremely well constructed or it won't last. Sometimes you have to pry things up a little bit. That's what I'm going to have to do here. I'm going to shoot a little shot of Zap in there underneath that eye. It didn't cooperate. There we go. Get in there. That's it. There you have it. Custom Tide's version of the EP peanut butter bait fish. You know, you can fool around with this thing a little bit, and you kind of see, well, you know, maybe I need a trim here or a trim there. So you can kind of there's a little heavier part. You just kind of, there we go. I don't like the way this back end is, so I'm gonna kind of even that up, thin that down a little more. There you go. EP peanut butter bait fish. So, if you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can find this and other amazing patterns and tutorials on my website at www.custom-tide.com. That's CUSTOM-TIED.com. Have a splash. Don't forget the dash. It's George with Custom Tide. Happy time.